Okay, today I'm going to tell you guys a story about what happened to me exactly 1 year ago today. Uh, Me and some friends were trying to help out my buddy Dalton because his car just kind of stopped working, and neither he or I were mechanically inclined enough to figure it out ourselves. But our friend Dave was pretty car savvy, so we went to him and we were trying to explain, what it was doing, sounds it was making, and he agreed to come try to help us out. So Dave, Dalton, and Lindsay jump in the van, and me and Kim jump in her car, and we start heading towards the gas station where Dalton's car's been sitting. On the way, I noticed the roads were kind of wet and the skies are kind of overcast because apparently it was raining all morning off and on. When we got there, Dave tinkered with his car for a little bit, but couldn't figure out what it was. He tried unhooking the fuel line from the filter to see if fuel was getting through it, and he ended up getting gas all over his arm. That was pretty funny. But in the end, he determined that Dalton was gonna have to take his car to a mechanic 'cause Dave couldn't figure out what it was. So, Dalton's bummed, but oh well. We all decided to go back to my house and hang out because that's where we were all at the night before. But Kim did not want to drive all the way back out there, and I live way out in BFE, so it made total sense. She didn't want to pay for the gas. So we quickly stopped by another friend's house, and we drop off our car because we know she could just park it there, and me and Kim jump in the van. So it's Dave driving, I have shotgun, and Lindsay and Kim are in the seats behind me, and Dalton sitting in the very back. And Dave drove a little wild to most people's standards. He'd go 10 or 15 over speed limit, but that wasn't a big deal because he and I both know that road like the back of our hands, and I trusted his driving skill. That's why it was really weird that I didn't feel right this time. I wasn't sick to my stomach or anything, just something didn't feel right. And as we're going, we didn't even make it that far down the road. We approached this big curve that we've taken a million times before, and I saw this glimmer of sunlight hit the road right in front of us, and right then I knew we weren't going to make it. So I turned to Dave to my left, and I tell him, Dave, you need to slow down. We are going too fast. And right then, he yells, oh shit, and starts struggling with the steering wheel. All at once, I feel the tires break traction, and we start sliding. My friend's chatter behind me falls silent, and I turn back from looking at Dave to out the windshield, and my eyes instantly lock on to the front left wheel of a John Deere 9300 tractor that was on the road. We slid around that curve, and just as Dave was starting to regain control, we started to veer back into our lane. We hit it. We just didn't have enough time. Next thing I remember is coming to, and there's somebody yelling at me from the passenger window, and to this day, I think it was just a figment of my imagination, something in my subconscious trying to get me out. But it's yelling at me, telling me to get out. I was in an accident, I need to get out. So I look down, I'm covered in glass, I'm brushing it off. I'm all disoriented, it's hard to move even a little bit, and I fumble with my seatbelt. I finally get it off, and I go for the door, and it doesn't budge. So I rear back, and I shoulder it as hard as I could. and I blacked out again. But apparently I got the door open because doctors told me that when they found me, I was literally just walking around the wreckage and they didn't know what I was doing. The next thing I do remember, though, is being wheeled to the ambulance in the gurney and one of the EMTs telling me, "You were just in a car accident, you're going to be okay, everything's going to be okay." And my first thought was, thank you. Thank you. I was glad he was there to help me and my friends. And the very next words out of his mouth weren't, "You're welcome." The very next words out of his mouth to his colleague was, "We're going to have to get the coroner down here." And my heart sank. And I tried asking what happened, where are my friends, are they okay? And they slammed the doors. I later found out that all 4 of my friends, Dave, Dalton, Lindsay, and Kim, all died on impact with that tractor. I was the only survivor. I was the only one wearing my seatbelt. Now, I didn't share the story today to bring anyone down or bring up past memories or anything. If anybody watching this video knew any of the victims and this brought you down at all, I'm sorry. That was not my intention. The reason I wanted to get this video out today, I guess, was kind of for a PSA, public service announcement. One of my professors heard my story and thought it would be a good idea to go ahead and show this to the world because it is an important message. It's such a little thing, but I just wanted to get the word out that you just need to wear your seatbelt. I did a little research, and just pulling that thing over your shoulder, locking yourself in place, cuts your chance of serious injury or even death in half. I'm not saying seatbelts will guarantee your safety, but I'm living proof that they at least help. 4 of my friends died in that car accident, and I got a scar on the back of my head, a little scar on my arm, not the big one, this little deal, some bruised ribs, and a concussion. And I walked out of the hospital the same day. Within hours of being admitted, I walked out. So, to anyone out there who doesn't just throw on your seatbelt right when you get in your car, start. It takes 2 seconds. Get in the car, click, you're good. I don't care if you're driving down the block or if you think the seatbelt's uncomfortable. Suck it up, use it. I personally, even if I'm at Walmart and I want to move my car from one side of the parking lot to the other side of the parking lot, I put my seatbelt on before I even start my car. Because you never know what's going to happen. And to anyone out there that does put on the seatbelt, good. Keep doing it. It's a good habit. To you guys, I say, try to pass that on to anybody and everybody you know that doesn't. I don't care if it's your friend from grade school that you've known for years and you don't want to feel like you're trying to control them or whatever. If they don't put on their seatbelt, tell them to put their seatbelt on because they don't know what can happen. I don't care if It's your grandmother. She's been driving since before you were born. If she doesn't wear a seatbelt, tell her to put it on because you don't want to lose her. If you have that one stubborn friend that just won't listen to you without shock or awe involved, tell them my story. Show them this video. We all have that friend that is just stubborn. Dave was like that. He was so crazy he wouldn't believe anything unless you showed him some proof. And he would always joke around that he wouldn't live to see 30 because how his lifestyle was. And he was 29 when that accident happened. So I encourage all you to just buckle up whenever you get in your car, no matter where you're going, and tell anybody and everybody you know to do the same. And we could all live a little safer and maybe avoid just a few more tragedies like this in the future.
Much too far away. We all need that person who can be true to you. But I left her when I found her, and now I wish I'd stay. 'Cause I'm lonely and I'm tired. I'm missing you again. Oh no. Once again, there's nothing here. Shops are closed. Can't help but think